Hi Grant, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks mate. Can I ask you how the mood is in the camp? Obviously you've had two pretty good performances the last couple of games, but nothing to show for it. Is there a danger of the players getting dispirited?
The mood's better in your haircut, Reece. I know that.
Thank you very much.
I'm only kidding, mate. No, the mood's good. The mood's good. The boys are in a good place. Obviously, we were disappointed coming away from Bristol with nothing, having played so well. I thought the performance was good. But we moved on quickly. The belief in the camp is one that we know we can do the best we can. We can stay in this division. We know what we've got to do now. So we've got to keep that belief strong. The boys are fighting. I think you've seen that in all the games that we've played, that yes, individual mistakes or individual errors has cost us goals, but also we're looking at a real threat at the other end of the pitch.
You mentioned that threat at the other end of the pitch, and obviously there's been good periods in games and good halves of football. How do you kind of marry all that together into a kind of more complete 90-minute performance?
Well, that's what everyone's striving to do. You know, everyone's striving to do that, especially down the bottom end of the league. But ultimately, we got to keep the ball out of our net more often than not. Really, we conceded a lot of goals over this period, but also scoring a lot of goals. But we need to be better at the back, midfield, forwards. You know, we always say we defend as a team, just so it's never any pointing fingers or blaming anybody, because they're human beings and they're going to make mistakes, and it's how you react from them and learn from them. So that's what we're trying to do.
When you've analysed the goals that you've conceded in the last 5 games, what are you seeing, Grant? Is it a case of them not following your instructions, or is it genuine individual mistakes and lapses in concentration?
It's just mistakes. It's just some mistakes have cost us at vital times in games. You know, if I look back to the Bristol City first goal, you know, it starts with a clearance that we didn't clear properly. Then we didn't stop a cross. Then we seem to not get on the end of the ball, comes into the box, and it just breaks to one of their players in the edge of the box, and we, for a split second, switch off. The second one we can't do much about. You know, it's a free kick from 30 yards, 25, 30 yards, straight into the top corner. So there's going to be moments in games where things like this happen. We need to try and get each other into trouble a wee bit more. When I say that, I mean if someone does make a mistake, we need to be reacting as a team better to help that individual out.
Are you looking for individuals to step up, Grant, and kind of drag you through this next game, the next 4 games, both in terms of their performance and, you know, leadership qualities? Yeah,
I mean it's important. You know, it's we have to be stand up and be counted in these 4 games, and no more than tomorrow. You know, it's going to be a really difficult test against the Millwall team, who are physical and strong and real competitive edge to the way they play. So we've got to stand up to that. A little bit similar to the way we did at Middlesbrough.
I know that you only want to focus on the next game, but you're in the bottom 3 with 4 games left to play. Is the pressure increasing on you? On
me or the team?
Well, both yourself and the group of players.
There's pressure all the time. There's pressure for Leeds to try and get promoted. So it's, and I mean that on a different scale. Obviously, there's pressure all the time. But we just got to focus on the next game. We got to keep the belief that we've got more than enough to stay in this division. Yes, a lot of people from the outside will be looking in and saying, well, look, you haven't won in 16 games, or you haven't kept a clean sheet since New Year's Day, or because that's what seems to always be dragged up at the minute, the negatives, you know. And we've got to park that to one side. We've got to focus on what we can do, and the next game is the one. And we're all doing what we can to fight and to stay strong and to get that win. Sorry, there's a fly above me.
In terms of you personally, Grant, is this the most pressurised kind of period of your career?
I'm enjoying it. I'm relishing in it. You know, I'm not going home at night thinking we've got no chance. I'm going home at night with a real belief and a hunger that this group of players and this group of staff are fighting. We're doing all we can to get the job done.
If you rewind to New Year's Day and that really good win at Sheffield Wednesday, could you ever have foreseen that you'd end up in this situation?
No, but nothing surprises me in football, and never has in the 20 odd years that I've been involved in it. obviously there were circumstances leading into the reasons of why we were such a poor run pre-lockdown. But we have been better since we've come back. Yes, results will say you haven't, but we have in terms of the way we've performed, the way we are approaching games, how much more positive we're looking at the attacking end of the pitch. And like I said, we need to be better defensively as a team to get the wins in these 4 games. Finally, from me, Grant, what's the team news for Saturday's game? Everybody is fit. Everyone's ready to go. So we've got apart from obviously Herbie, everyone's fine. Thank you, Grant. Thank you.
Grant, how do you assess things since lockdown?
Performance-wise, a lot better since we've been a lot better than we were leading into the lockdown. Obviously, we were disappointed. The results weren't going our way. We had a lot of injuries. We felt a bit low. We felt is this ever going to end? The luck that we're having. But since we've come back, we've felt very good. In terms of the way we've performed in games, but results haven't obviously married that up. So now it's about turning them performances into wins. We had a decent game at Birmingham where we went and were 2-0 up and ended up disappointed that we drew the game, and then to follow it up with a good win at Middlesbrough. And then we're just finished with 2 tough away games, obviously at West Brom, who are Premier League bound, and give them a really good game. And at Bristol City, where we were disappointed to come away with not even a point, with the chances we created. So we've got to keep believing. We've got to keep the boys intact. Obviously, we'll learn from some of the mistakes we've made in those games and try and get the wins.
How big was that Middlesbrough win?
Yeah, it was a good result because it's always tough playing against Neil's teams. But I think we showed that day that we've got a real grit and determination to fight and to try and keep that ball out of our net, although we conceded a penalty. We had a real determination, so it's definitely in there. And it's just about the boys bringing that out more often.
Is it the hardest point in your managerial career, and how do you stay motivated with all the pressure that comes of people saying 1 win since Christmas, etc., etc.?
Yeah, it's not been easy. Obviously, I'm the worst loser in the world. You just have to ask my wife and the kids that, and I take it out on them most of the time. We no one enjoys losing, but we have to get back to winning ways. In terms of the way what we showed against Middlesbrough, and then we're looking forward to these 4 games. We've got a tough game tomorrow against Millwall. Here, still. I'm sure they'll still think they've got a chance of reaching that top 6. So we have to be good tomorrow to get the win.
Do you have to adopt a bit of a siege mentality yourself? Because there's so much that's happened that's been out of your hands, hasn't it?
We do, of course we do, and there's always going to be people knocking you and wanting to pick the bones out of what you didn't do. Not many people focus on what you did well or anything like that. It's all result business, I remember winning against Middlesbrough not so long ago, and I think one of the first questions was, how do you get your team to play better? We actually played better at Bristol City, but we lost the game. So we got to stick together. There is a siege mentality in this squad. We are firmly focused on our job, and we've got a real belief that we can get enough points to stay in this division.
The way the fixtures have thrown up as well, you've got 2 teams who are down there in Luton and Wigan. They're 2 massive games, aren't they, for you?
Yeah, the next 3 are big for us, I think. I think the next 3 games, obviously this next week is going to ultimately decide where we're going to be, and we're firmly focused on that. It's going to be a tough week. They're all fighting for something. Millwall top 6, Wigan probably trying to stay in the league, and Luton staying in the league. So it's going to be an interesting week, and we've got to man up to it and meet it head on.
Is there a distraction with Wigan's impending 12-point deduction sort of on their backs? How do you put that out of your mind, or do you focus on that? Is it easy to think about that and see what's the situation with that?
I don't think we can focus on anybody else apart from ourselves, really. I think we've got to make sure that we get enough wins for ourselves and not rely on anybody else. And, we're close. We're close to winning 1, 2, 3 games in a row. That's the way I see it in terms of the performance that we've showed, definitely in the last 3 games. Middlesbrough, West Brom and Bristol City. For us to only to come out of that with 1 win was frustrating for us. But we've got a real united group here, and the boys all understand that nobody wants to go and play in League One, and they understand the what comes with that in a lot of aspects of their life. So we're fighting to stay in this division.
Yeah, preempted my question there. What's the mood been like in the dressing room, and do you really see what sort of characters you've got when the chips are down?
Yeah, you do. Well, we've got a young group. We've got a young group who are learning. Some of them are learning their way in this league, and you got to stand up to the challenge. You got to look forward to the challenge, because a lot of them have probably playing at this level for the first time, and they want to stay at this level and beyond. Because some of them's got huge futures. So we'll do all we can for these 4 games to do that, and we'll believe we can do it.
How did it emotionally affect you on these long runs?
I've felt a lot better since we've come back, obviously. I think we had a lot of time to sit and analyse and think about where we went wrong. Us as a staff, us as the players, and try and bring it back to since we've come back from lockdown. And I don't think anyone will disagree that we've been much better. Yes, the results haven't been there, but we're doing everything we can to keep this club in the division, and hopefully we can do that.
Last question from me. You get the feeling it's going to go down to the last day, this, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's tight, isn't it? It's tight. Whatever way you want to look at it, it's tight, and one win can put you up 4 or 5 places, and that's how tight the league is down there. I definitely think the points average is going to be a lot higher than it has been over the last few years, and I think it's probably already showing that. But we always have to take it back to what I said to you just a minute ago. It's what we do, because nobody does it for you, and we've got to make sure we get enough wins to stay in this league.